Well, hello, let's celebrate. I hope we're going to have a good time tonight. Good evening and welcome to Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist Teal Talk. Our focus tonight is imaging. My name is Jill, and I'll be your host for this evening. I thank you. Um, this is my information here. I am the in-house recruiter for all of our open imaging positions, and I invite you to take a moment and scan the QR code on this slide to capture not only my contact information, but it'll also include our social media sites, our career website, all for easy access from your phone. If you happen to be on your phone right now, this might be a little challenging. You can also just snap a picture or write down my contact information because I'd love to hear from you. I'll give you a moment just to do that. Okay, I wanted to tell you just a little bit about myself. I've been here as a recruiter for over 11 years. I'm very passionate about my work and how we work as one team to make great things happen. I'm inspired by working, our innovation in our healthcare system, and we always drive for excellence, which I love. I enjoy building relationships with future imaging teammates, and that it's a real reward for me finding a workplace where a new hire can grow and thrive. Here at Wake Forest, Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist, we create a space where all belong and earn trust in all we do. And that's why I love Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. And all of these items that you see on our screen is part of our culture commitments. And we work hard every day to meet these commitments. Now, I would imagine that you will have some questions as we go along. And so, our plan tonight for the Teal Talk is to provide you with information about Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist, let you know, of course, what our current job opportunities are, and we're going to introduce you to our awesome team our leaders in our imaging leaders. Sorry. Most importantly, though, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of these leaders so you can get even more information. At this time, all of you are muted. If at any point in time during this session you have a question, there's two ways for you to ask. If you'll look at the top of your screen, there's a raise hand icon. You can click on that, and then we will unmute you and you can ask your question. So we'll be monitoring that. Also, you'll see at the top of your screen a chat where it says chat. And you can click on that and you can enter your question. And then we'll be happy to ask that question on your behalf. So we welcome your questions tonight. That's why we're here. Um, the next thing I wanted to talk about, just to give you a little bit of an overview, is our market. Um, so we have, not everybody knows how wide ranging our market is, but here's a picture just to show you our 5 hospitals, and as well as we have a picture of one of our outpatient practices. We have many of those. So the pictures here are, we have Davie Medical Center in Bermuda Run, we have High Point Medical Center in High Point, Lexington Medical Center in Lexington, Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, which also includes our Children's Hospital in Winston-Salem, and Wilkes Medical Center in North Wilkesboro. And that last picture at the bottom right is one of our premier medical plazas, which is the name of it, in High Point. So you're going to learn a little bit more about how extensive our market is from one of our leaders. But before we go any further, I'd like us to take a poll. So I want to give you an opportunity. We're going to ask a few questions of you. And excuse me, sorry. So we're going to ask you 3 questions. The first one you'll see is, which applies to you? Are you a student or a professional? We'd like to know who we're talking to tonight. What's your area of interest? You'll have a chance to click on, whether it's MRI or CT or what have you. And then the third one, we'd like to know, are you actively seeking employment? Are you looking to keep your options open? Or are you just curious about Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist? So in order to do this poll, if you will, please scan the QR code on the screen and go ahead and answer these 3 questions. Again, for those of you who might be on your phones right now to listen to this Teal Talk, you can put your answers in the chat. So you may begin.
Don't hit.
Everybody have enough time to complete that? This is very helpful because this is going to help our leaders as we go forward in our talk today to kind of direct our attention to, who's participating today. So thank you so much for doing that. Next, I'd like to introduce you to our leaders. We have 3 that are here today that will be sharing some information with you. So I'd like to introduce you to Emily Cash and Cindy Grogan on the left and on the right. Both of them are directors in our Winston campus, and then William Jordan in the middle is our director in High Point. And so Emily Cash, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Jill. And if you want to go on and go to the next slide. First, I just want to say thank you so much for being here this evening, and thanks for doing the poll. Like Jill said, that makes a huge difference in knowing who we're talking to and maybe how to gear the conversation. But please put questions in the chat or in the Q&A, raise your hand, whatever works for you. We want to make this conversational and get as much feedback from you and get as much information to you as possible. But thank you so much for being here. We're excited to share a bit about who we are and what we have to offer at Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. But before we get into our local market specific opportunities, I wanted to give a brief overview of how we've grown in recent years. So the map that you're looking at shows how we have expanded our footprint across the Southeast as Atrium Health. What you can't see is how we've expanded and joined together with Advocate Aurora, which is in the Midwest, and under a larger enterprise between Atrium Health and Advocate Aurora, we are known as Advocate Health. So whether you plan on staying local in Winston-Salem, High Point, Wilkesboro, Lexington areas, or head south toward Charlotte, maybe even another state, being a part of Atrium Health really gives you opportunities that could take you far and wide. So it's an exciting time to be a part of our organization. We have in many of our areas that small town feel, but we also have the network around us to be able to look for opportunities to develop and learn from each other. But excited to talk to y'all more, and I'm going to hand it over to William so he can introduce our team and we'll get more into our local market specific opportunities. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time this evening. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our leaders within our market. And, anytime you spend time working for a place, you develop relationships. And those relationships, they start early. And for many of us, they may start right now with you learning a little bit about who we are and developing those relationships and partnerships. So I'm going to just give you a few fun facts. So We're going to play ping pong with our leaders here. So Amy Hayes, she's the director up in Wilkes County, near the mountains. And she loves hiking up in Wilkes County and spending time out there in the fun hiking up in the mountains. Sarah loves spending her time with her grandkids, but even more fun is when she's at the beach spending time with her grandkids. And Jonathan there, he's the director here in High Point at the Westchester Outpatient Imaging Center. He is an avid pickleball fan. Had no idea Jonathan did this, but we're going to have to see if we can come up with a challenge. Let's see, Brooke, who's not able to be with us today, but I'm having to figure out what this game is that she does. It's something called American Mahjong. I've never heard of that, and I had to get Google to help me out. So Brooke does something fun called American Mahjong. And Cindy, she showed me a picture of her favorite place. It's the front porch at Smith Mountain Lake. And I have to say, I could really enjoy that as well. So just a little bit about some of the folks that we work with all the time, that our teammates work with all the time. And I think it's important that as part of Wake Forest Baptist Health, we really enjoy getting to know our teammates. They are part of our family. We encourage them to share about themselves. We go to weddings, we celebrate babies. There's all kinds of fun stuff we do together. And so if you're looking at a 94-bed hospital over in Lexington Medical Center or the big hospital in Winston, almost 1,000 beds, we have an opportunity for you. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cindy.
Thank you, William. As you can see on the slide, across all of our locations, we have a variety of technologists that work in our radiology departments. And if you scan the QR code that is up in the right-hand corner, that will connect you with a listing of positions that we currently have available. But just to talk a little bit about each of these, we have radiologic technologist opportunities where they work in X-ray departments that range in size from one X-ray unit in a doctor's clinic to doing portable X-rays or working in an OR in one of our hospitals. We have MRI technologists. We have ultrasound techs, also known as sonographers. We have CT techs, mammography techs. We have techs at some of our hospitals that do multiple modalities. So they may work in both X-ray and CT or CT and IR. We have interventional radiology techs. We have nuclear medicine and PET technologists. And then we have opportunities for expanding your knowledge that ranges from tech trainee positions. So for those students who are in a program at any one of the local community colleges, to apprenticeships where we offer opportunities for our current employees to get training in an advanced modality while they continue to work on the job. And at the end of that apprenticeship, they get a Journeys card that's issued by the state of North Carolina, indicating that they completed an official apprenticeship program. So lots of opportunities across all of our locations. And like Emily said earlier, if you have a particular type of environment you want to work in, we probably have that opportunity for you at any of our locations. So use the QR code, look at what we have available, and we are happy to discuss opportunities with you as we move through the presentation. Next slide. So I want to share with you one of our leaders in particular. William had mentioned Brooke Beeson, and we're very proud of Brooke's accomplishments. She's worked with Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist for over 20 years. And during that time, she's gone from a student tech position to a technologist position, to a senior staff position, to a manager, and she is now the director at Lexington Medical Center. And all of that time, we helped her on her journey. And, it's fulfilling to all of us to know that we may have had a little part in her growth opportunities. But you can see here, she says that, she's grown professionally, specifically through the opportunities that were provided to her by this organization. And, we do offer tuition reimbursement. So she was able to pursue some formal education to get her undergrad degree, to go on to get her graduate degree. And then also opportunities outside of formal education to develop leadership skills, those types of things through work that we do here at Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. So I'm very proud of her. I've worked with her for many years, but just wanted to share, what working at an organization like Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist can actually provide you as you go along your journey, your work journey. So now we're going to turn it back over to Jill to talk a little bit more about some of what I just mentioned. So Jill, hand it back over to you.
All right, I know Jill had a little bit of computer issues, so I'm actually going to take over for her until she gets pulled back up. So, hi guys, my name is Lauren Russell, and I work in human resources, talent acquisition. So just so you guys know who this random person is. But I'll go ahead and try and talk about compensation, some shift diffs and benefits for you guys. And Emily Williams, Cindy, feel free to interrupt me if I say I was not prepped for this. So we're just rolling with it. But I do want to let you guys know that, we do have very competitive pay based on kind of market analysis within our region. But we try and really reward the people who are working here. So at least every year I've been here, we've had merit increases. We have sign-on bonuses. Sometimes we offer relocation assistance, all depending kind of on the job that you would be going into. But those are certainly things that you would definitely be able to talk to Jill more about, or if you want to speak with one of our directors, they can probably tell you more about that information as well. Shift diffs, I actually do need help with that. If you guys don't mind, you could speak to that better than I could.
Yeah. So with any of our positions, we've got a wide array of options. So you've got first, second, third shift, some weekend options. But a second and third shift is going to have a differential that comes with that. So you would get your base pay plus a little bit extra on top of that per hour, just for working a more difficult shift to potentially fill. And then from the weekend perspective, if you work every single weekend, we have some weekend only options, which gives a pretty significant incentive. And it's paid in the form of a differential on top of your shift differentials. So if you have second shift or you're working third shift weekends, you get the weekend differential plus what you would be getting for the other shifts. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit. Cindy, William, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah. No, that sums it up. Yep.
Okay, and then we have our benefits, and this is where I can speak to you guys all day about the benefits. But we have really amazing benefits that we offer here in terms of health insurance. We have day one health insurance. So if you happen to be transitioning from one job to another, you won't have that lapse in healthcare coverage. Now you have, 31 days to sign up for that, but you've got health insurance from day one. And we have some really great plans. I love the plans that we're on. I have no complaints over them. So that's all I can really say about our health insurance. It's really quite something. We also offer 6 weeks of paid maternity leave. We have 4 weeks of paid parental leave for non-birthing mothers. We offer live well incentives, which are basically like a wellness incentive. So if you complete certain activities, you can get up to $1,600 extra per year added into a live well account, which is like an HSA or almost like an FSA account that you can use towards your medical expenses as well. We just have some really amazing things going on here. So in terms of, up to 7% retirement match. It's not even a match. If you put in 4%, you're guaranteed to get 6%. And then we have that one additional percent that makes us total 7%, which comes dependent on how the company does. So if the company is doing really well one year, then we get the additional 1%. If they're not doing so hot, then we don't. But again, every year that I've been here, we've gotten that additional 1%. So just things to keep thinking on, and we hope that we can bring you to our side.
Hello, I'm back. Not, but can't see my picture, unfortunately, or fortunately, but I'm here and I'm back. And thank you so much. This is why I love Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. Just pitching in wherever needed, collaboration, jumping in off the cuff. We all have our expertise. So sorry about that. My computer just completely died. But anyway, we found another one and I'm back. So I think I didn't hear everything that was covered, so this might be an excellent time for people to start asking some questions before we go into our final Q&A. Any questions on the pay, shift, diff, and benefits? And again, you can just put your question in the chat, and Lauren, if you don't mind, would you monitor that? And or you can raise your hand. Any questions?
It looks like there is a question, Jill, in the chat. Are we a disabled friendly organization? That's probably a HR question more than an imaging question.
We are, and she was.
This is
Yes,
not
we definitely are a disabled friendly organization. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us directly. Jill's contact. Yeah, we can certainly, if you have Jill's contact information at the end, you can certainly reach out to Jill and she can look into it for you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. Absolutely. Anything else? Can you talk about the student project more?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're referring to the trainee positions or the opportunity for apprenticeships, but we can speak to both. From a trainee perspective, typically this is someone in their second year as a student, so they're about to graduate. Typically they graduate in spring, but I guess some of our programs could graduate in December as well. But in their senior year, we actually probably have employed in our system right now around 15 to 20 what we call radiologic technologist trainees. So they come in, they work pretty much as an assistant to the technologist, but they're engaged with all of our patients, work with our typical workflow, get ingrained into the environment and department, and really get to know and work with the staff on a little bit different and closer level. It is a paid position, which is nice. It's of course not quite as highly paid as you're going to come out as a rad tech, but while you're in school and during some of your off hours, it's a great opportunity to expand your skill set as well as really get to know that department better. But our goal in those positions is not only just to have you as a rad tech trainee, but hopefully to retain you as a full-time employee after you graduate. So that's really what we're looking for there. Hopefully that answers your questions on that. And then from an apprentice perspective, Cindy, do you want to give some detail about the apprentice programs?
Sure. So the apprentice programs are for technologists who have already graduated and they're in our working space. And for example, we have an MRI apprenticeship program with Forsyth Tech. So the program is actually run by Forsyth Technical Community College as far as the didactic or classroom training is concerned. And then we work with those technologists to give them opportunity to get their clinical competencies. And so once they complete the didactic training and they get their clinical competencies, they have a review course with for SciTech, and then they have opportunity to sit for the MR registry with the ARRT. And they are paid for the entire time they're learning, which is the benefit of the apprenticeship program. Is we're pretty much paying people to learn. And then once they are finished, we want them to stay working with us. We've invested time and effort and money into that employee. And then we hope that helps to retain that employee in that modality or that discipline that they did their apprenticeship with. So it's really a win-win for both. It's a win for us as an organization because we offer this to sort of our top performing technologists that want to grow and learn, but it also gives them opportunity to continue their education and get paid while they're learning. So it's a great program.
Thank you,
We're looking
Cindy.
to it. Yeah, and we're looking to expand into CT with that apprenticeship program as well, partnering with, again, Forsyth Technical Community College.
We have a couple more questions in the chat. Are there opportunities for growth and development?
Hey, this is William. I'll share a little bit. So, yes, there are. There's opportunities from the very beginning, as Emily was talking about a student tech position. Also, some opportunities where we have seen students move into prior to becoming a rad tech is maybe being a technologist assistant or being a transporter. So there are several other opportunities that may not be working as a student technologist in your second year. Some folks start earlier as a junior in one of these other opportunities during their free time. It gives them experience and exposure to radiology and to other areas of the hospital. And if you haven't had experience touching patients, working with patients, learning how to have those conversations, these areas started early help you develop those skills to really show compassion and caring when you're providing care. Moving on from that, once you become a rad tech, there are opportunities if you would like to grow into other modalities, as Cindy mentioned. We also offer on-the-job training that we do in some of the areas that may not have an apprenticeship program available. And this is a way to grow, and we invest into our teammates. The teammates give so much to our sites, to our patients. We want to give back to them. And if there's an opportunity and an eagerness to grow, we want to help foster and develop that. So we will take you and we will put you in the modality. We will train you. There's a lot of online course opportunities where you can learn some academic and didactic portions of training, and then we can really help you with the clinical hands-on, as well as help educate and you understand the academic portion of it, put it into practice. From there, many of our informal leaders will grow into a supervisor, a manager, and or may move on to directors. Myself, I started as a transporter some 35 years ago, and started pushing patients as a junior student, and I've grown from there, and it's been a blast. I've learned a lot. So there are a lot of growth and development opportunities. We have many folks that start out as technologists that also may move into the IT realm as a PACS administrator or work with IT for our PACS imaging. There's a lot that goes on in that space. It's ever growing in development. So it gives them a different angle to utilize their knowledge that they got as a technologist. Emily and Cindy?
Yeah, we also have opportunities to grow within a modality itself. So we are implementing what we're calling tech ladders. And so, some of our departments have technologist one positions, and that's an entry level position. And then they have opportunity as they gain competencies doing some more complex type procedures or taking on additional responsibilities to move into a technologist 2 role, and in some cases a technologist 3 role. So even if you don't want to go into, say, a supervisory or management type position, there are opportunities to grow within that modality.
Along those lines, I see there's a question about having significant amount of experience, and do we offer training for someone, looking to go into a leadership position? And I would say yes. In all honesty, at least speaking for myself, and I think probably the others too, we love to promote from within. So if we have someone in our department who is thriving and yearning for more responsibility and just, doing everything they can to better themselves and the department as a whole, like we want to do everything we can to support that individual and grow them into a leader, and that could be a leader without a title too, right? We've got several of those within our department that pick up extra tasks or work on certain projects and that sort of thing. But there is HR has done a great job of putting together some leader specific education, and some of that is in person, done in a classroom setting. Some of it is online where you can do it, on your own time, whatever works. But there's a full gamut of just plenty of resources out there to help get the information that you need. Hopefully that helps answer that question a little bit.
Nikita also asked, mentioned that she's interested in, is it PACUS? Is that how, or do you,
Are you talking
I
about
believe
PACS?
PAX.
okay, didn't know what that
Yeah,
was.
so we actually have several people who worked in our departments for many years and then transitioned over into the PACS world. Um, I cannot speak directly to, everything involved with that, but would be happy to put you in contact with some folks who have experienced it and maybe how you can prepare yourself for that.
I have a question that's been asked. It's a very common question, and that is, to the leaders here, what makes for a successful employee for your department and for our organization?
Like that one.
That's a
Who
hard
wants to
one.
go first?
So I'll start.
Yeah.
And I think it's different with every employee, and it's different at every site.
Yeah.
Because our range and our function and what we do is different at every site. So success has different meanings for each employee. And the thing that we like to do is learn the teammate. You learn us, find out what are those needs. What's your communication style? What are you interested in? We all have the basic work function that we need to do. And for most of us, that's to image a patient and to provide quality diagnostic imaging. But then from there, what else does that mean? Do you become a lead in your area? Are you a quiet type, but you love to organize? And so we have opportunities where you can take on those tasks. Are you a very caring person? And so you're the person that will lend an ear and spend time talking with somebody when they need that extra help. So the success for me, again, is very individualized. And are you meeting the basic expectations of what we're looking for? And then are you here to provide a quality caring service? Beyond that, I think it can grow in many different forms. Emily and Cindy, what do y'all think?
Yeah, I think, to be successful here, we look for some basic culture commitments. We look
Yeah.
for people who have that desire to work as a team, and to, like William said, create an experience for our patients that's going to make that patient want to come back to us for ongoing care needs. And I think, whether you are someone who wants to come and work their hours and go home and not think about us until they come back for work the next day, that's okay. As long as it's a good fit, right? And it fits what our commitments are, and just embrace the mission of the organization. And There's many different ways to do that. So it's a hard question to answer, but because I don't think there's any one right answer. But we do look for teammates who embrace our culture commitments and kind of walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know that there's much more I can add other than, we can teach you all the things, but we can't teach you to be a good person, a good, caring teammate to others and to your patients. So really, I look for those non-tangible things when I'm interviewing someone. And, if you have somebody who's willing to learn and think outside the box and is caring and kind and, understanding, but also, respects the process and is passionate about the organization. Like, I want somebody who wants to be here and is not here just for a paycheck. I think it's important to take pride in who you work for and what you do. And that's really what I look for.
Thank you for your answers. Tried to stump you, but I didn't. So I really appreciate it. There is a question here. Is there a minimum distance drive time that an IR tech must live from the site for
Yeah.
if you have on-call
Yeah,
duties?
I can take that one. Courtney, for IR, we require a 30-minute, not necessarily mileage discrepancy. We don't get into that, but you have to you have to be on site within 30 minutes. That's our stroke compliance. Now, we have several people who live outside of that and make arrangements when they're on call to stay somewhere different or whatever that may look like, but it is a 30-minute response time.
Hey, and Emily, for High Point, that is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So we don't have the stroke compliance as they do in Winston. So our response time for IR is 45 minutes.
Great call out. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then I see Nikita asked, would I have to start off as a tech first? I think you're referring to the PACS role. I would say not necessarily. A strong IT background would be needed, but definitely having the technologist background would give extra benefit, just knowing kind of the ins and outs of how things function and the process between PACS and Epic and, all the various software components that kind of come in touch with each other.
Hey,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I see the question from Jessica that says, which hospital is closest located between Chapel Hill and Dunn? I believe that's going to be High Point. I believe it's closest to the coast and to that area. And from Chapel Hill to High Point, it depends on who's driving. So I'm going to say anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour. So we'll go with that.
And we are expanding into Greensboro too. So that's something to be on the lookout for in the future.
I accidentally skipped a question in our chat. What makes Atrium Health stand out from anywhere else that you have worked?
Oh, there's so many things. I personally would say the people. I could probably pick 5, but the people is what it comes down to. And kind of like what just happened to if I'm in a bind, I know Cindy or William or whomever is going to have my back and help me out. And it's the same thing with all of our teammates. Anytime there's a difficult patient on the table or difficult situation that we're dealing with, or even if we want to just celebrate somebody and the good things that are going on, like I just think we have a team that is like no other.
Yeah, I have worked here a long time. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many years, but it's been a long time. And, I've had lots of opportunities to go elsewhere over the years for employment, both at other hospitals and out in the private sector with equipment vendors and that sort of thing. And I've not left. And the reason for that is um, the I keep using the word culture, and I hate to keep using the same word, but I really feel like the organization itself provides opportunities that you don't necessarily get somewhere else, and it's not necessarily opportunities that are tangible. But, when you have a need as a person, I feel like this organization responds. And, I've been fortunate enough to have leaders over my career in radiology who I felt like really cared about me as a person, and wanted to make sure that I had what I needed, at all times. And I don't think you get that everywhere you might have opportunity to go. And so, even as we've grown as an organization, I don't think that we've lost that feel. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I truly feel like it's a great place to work, and that, like Emily said, we take care of each other, and, just the whole teammate environment is important to me. And that's why I've stayed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We've got several more questions. Does Atrium Health allow international medical graduates preparing for medical residency to complete I don't know how to say that. Can they
Observerships.
thank you with radiology and imaging department?
I don't know the answer to that question. But
Yeah.
we do have, some leaders in radiology who lead the residency program. So they would probably be better able to answer that question, but I think we're happy to try and get that answer for you.
Mm-hmm. Next question. It states, I'm a believer of quality care. It takes time to image a patient properly and correctly. What are you all doing about the fact that the workload is ever increasing on technologists? More is being expected where it can be difficult to give the patient quality care if the department is super busy.
That is a great question. And that's a challenge I think we are all dealing with, is how to manage that. And I welcome Emily and William to jump in, or anyone else for that matter. But I will say, part of, we want to make sure that the patient is cared for and that we give quality care to the patient. That's important. And, so you have to look at what are the other things that can be done to help you improve your efficiency, that are not going to negatively impact the time that you're able to spend with that patient. And a lot of times that's using process or using new technologies that allow you to work faster, but not at the expense of the patient interaction. And that's going to vary depending on the modality that you're working within. But it is a balancing act, and it's not easy to find that balance. And it's very easy to say we want throughput, we need volume. And financially, yes, you do, because as you get reimbursed less for the work that you do, you still have to pay your bills, right? But you can't do that at the expense of the patient and quality care. So what are the other ways? And I think that's what we look for, is what are the other ways that we can help move things through a little bit faster that don't negatively impact that. And quite honestly, on any given day, we get it right. And sometimes on certain days, we don't.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
Good.
Go ahead, William.
Go ahead, William.
I was just going to tag on. I appreciate the difficult question. And as leaders, as Cindy said, we don't always have that answer. And what does that look like? And every time it's different. But I'm going to go back to what we mentioned earlier that helps us stand out. And that's the teammates that work together. I want to say the camaraderie. And I don't even think that's a word, but anyway, so how well we work together. I can tell you, not only will the teammate that's working beside you help you, but if you need help moving a patient, folks will come from other modalities when we call them and will help move patients so that you're not having to pull that patient by your side. The other thing we do is we have crossover positions. So you may need somebody to come help with various tasks that need to be done. Well, that crossover person gives you that additional support when that is needed. Um, I'll use our nurses, for example. Our nurses function in a certain role when it comes to taking care of patients and imaging. But at the end of the day, they also go to wherever the need is. What does that mean? Does that mean starting an IV? Does that mean helping move a patient? Does that mean changing an inpatient that had an accident while they were down with us? So there are multiple things, and that is, we try to create an environment from talking about safety, talking about events that happen. And so we try to create an environment of safety and where our teammates work together to assist and support each other so that we can provide the quality care in a timely manner.
Thank you. There's one other question here. And what is your orientation training requirement for experienced X-ray tech and the extents?
So I would say really for any of our positions, the orientation period is going to be developed around what that individual employee needs. There's going to be a standard set that you're going to have to go through, whether it be policy based, all of your protocols, making sure you understand the equipment, getting to know your fellow teammates, and really getting to know your leader too. There's also those Joint Commission related educational requirements. So there's all kinds of things that are going to have to be checked off. But really, when it comes down to the onboarding experience, we want to make sure whatever length of time is established, we cover everything that you need to be successful within that role. And we'll have frequent check-ins with your leader, with the person who's precepting you, and see, where are those areas that we may need to spend a little bit more time on versus what are the things that you've picked up on and you're doing really well and can get moving with. So I think I would say it's tailored based on what the need is for every individual orientee that comes in.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other questions. Anybody else have a question before we move to our last slide? We've got time. Any more questions? All right, then. The last thing that we'd like to leave you with, and by the way, we will hang out till at least 6:30 if you think of a question after we've kind of finalized everything. So we'll hang around a little bit longer. But for those that need to go, why don't you see this last slide? This is contact us. So here's all our contact information, and we would love to hear from you. So snap a picture of this, jot it down however you want to capture this information. But here's your imaging leaders and my contact information as the recruiter. Again, we would love to talk to you. So again, we'll stay on until at least 6:30 if you have other questions. But for those of you whose questions have been answered, thank you so much. Thank you all for your time, your participation, and your patience when my computer lost control. And we appreciate you being here for our Teal Talk tonight for imaging, and we really appreciate your interest in Wake Forest, Atrium Health, the Wake Forest Baptist. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Here's a question: is the new site that is in Friendly Center an urgent care or a standalone imaging site?
Yeah, so there's a new urgent care opening in Friendly. But there's also an outpatient imaging center that's opening nearby. So there's several options in that area.
These were for positions that we have posted currently. I don't know if you guys know more about them, but it doesn't give a specific, well, it says I think 2005 Pisgah Church Road. Is that the new, do you guys know where that is?
Yes, so I'm recruiting for these. These are not all necessarily been announced. So some are to be opened soon. Well, actually, one should be any time now in April and one will be in July. So they are expanding the market. And of course, we're looking now because people that are being hired now for these urgent cares that haven't opened yet can also train at our Pisgah Church facility as well as our Kernersville. So, and that's exactly what we're doing. So it's not like if one of the centers doesn't open until July, we're not waiting. We want to get good rad techs in as soon as possible. So whoever asked that question, send me your resume. Anybody else have a question? Well, thank you, leaders, too. Thank you so much for your time and information today. This has been great. And to my HR colleagues who have helped me tremendously today. Really appreciate it.
It's fun.
Yes, we plan on doing more of these. So looks like we're down to about 11 people. Anybody else have a question? Thank you, Jay. We like it. It was fun. We have someone typing in a question.
All right. So Stephanie is a senior in high school. That's awesome. Looking to pursue a career. Yes. So we work with several of the community colleges around here for Site Tech, and Cindy William. Y'all know probably more of the ultrasound connections.
Yeah, Guilford Tech is starting an ultrasound program. But predominantly we work here on the Winston campus with South Community College in Asheville, as well as Forsyth Technical Community College here in Winston. I don't know if Amy Hayes is still on, but I think the students from South College in Asheville also do some clinical rotations at Wilkes Medical Center.
And Stephanie, we'd love to talk more if you want. We can get you connected with some ultrasound specific folks.
Yeah, exactly. We've actually had a lot of requests recently for job shadowing in ultrasound to come in and spend a day and just learn a little bit more about what they do every day in their roles. And so if that's something you're interested in, please reach out. Happy to work with you to try and make something like that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have the link to the form that we could maybe put in the chat? I can look. Or is that something we fill out?
It's something we fill out for job
Okay.
shadowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Stephanie, we can take you off mute if that would be easier for you. I think you're the only one left.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we can certainly make that happen.
Yes.
Yep.
What school are you at? I'm just curious. Woodland. Very cool.
Okay. Mhm.
Very exciting times for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great modality.
It is, and there are a lot of different pathways. You know, of course, we think the radiology pathway is the best, but there are other there are other pathways for sonographers. So there's OBGYN ultrasound, there's neurology based ultrasound, vascular, and cardiac. So depending on what specialty you want to go into, there's lots of different opportunities for sonographers.
Kudos to you, Stephanie, for knowing that you even want to go into that field.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
one of the
great.
things we try to do. We try to get out to the high schools as well, because most people in high school aren't aware of a lot of these healthcare jobs. So that's exciting for you. That's great. Call me when you're ready.
So is it Jill Harrell, the one that I need to
Yes.
contact? Okay.
Yes, you could start with me.
Yeah, because it was just like this research paper. We've been working on it for a few months now, and one of the things we had to do is, well, like interview one of the people that we want to go into the field. So
Yeah.
I'll get in contact with one of our leaders here and we'll get something lined up for you, Stephanie. That's great.
okay, thank you.
You're
Perfect.
welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing,
The
Stephanie.
information was very helpful.
Good, I'm glad.
Well, I'm
And
going to get going because I have to go do something right now. But I will definitely reach out to you and see if we could like schedule an appointment for an interview if you're willing to.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Yep.
that's great,
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
your
night.
time and all the information.
Yeah. Thank
You're
you.
Bye-bye.
welcome.
Hope you have a good day. Thank you.
You
You
too.
too.
Great job, Jill. Continue.
Thank you.
It was great information.
Do we have
Hello,
any?
I just want to introduce myself.
Go ahead,
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hey guys, I do just want to commend you all for having this talk, and I was very excited to get this email. I have actually just had a recent interview with you, William. It was great to see you at the High Point Hospital. Yes, so that was a really good experience. But I finally realized I am an outpatient type technologist in person, and I so badly wanted to jump right in with you all. But sometimes you have to realize some things about about yourself and about
Absolutely.
how busy this industry is. It is growing, and it's a good thing. But I've been in healthcare for now, I guess, 17 years, and it's it's really high, fast paced.
Mhm.
I'm just seeing in every modality, in every endeavor, there's just a lot expected on technologists. And that's kind of where my question came from. It's one thing to talk about leadership, and I'm excited that people do get to grow in their field and they do get to, you know, lead others. But it's really hard for me personally when my leadership, isn't really willing to do what they're asking of me to do, or they're expecting really things that are unreasonable. Um, that's what I've kind of run into recently. People that don't have an imaging background that are my leaders right now, and
Yeah.
asking us to just do things that it's too much, or
Yep.
asking technologists to work by themselves. I don't think that's
Yeah.
very safe. So
Yeah.
I'm just running into a lot of that, and I don't. I mean, I'm evaluating my life choices. I'm going back to school. I'm expanding my modalities. I'm now going to be a dual technologist. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm a caring person and a relational person. So,
Yeah.
I can't have that 5-minute conversation because my coworker's like, "What are you doing?" Or, "We don't have time for that." So, I do appreciate you guys even having this conversation, open up these dialogues, because
Yeah.
I think it's conversations that people aren't really willing to have anymore, or to face the facts that it's changing, it's ever growing. So
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
So, Rebecca,
Yeah.
I'll say, thank you for sharing. You
mhm,
know, you have to find that place that's right for you. And that's very
right.
important. And I think that's one great thing that Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist offers is we offer
Mhm,
clinical office imaging all the way through
yeah.
academic and research imaging. So we have a home for you and we have a place
Mhm,
that we can help get you tied into. So if you're still
yeah.
looking outside of the hospital, I'm glad to follow up back with you, or Jill's glad to help you as well, and we can connect
Mhm,
to help because we do care. We understand exactly what you're saying, and we want to
Mhm.
make
yeah.
sure that you have
Yeah.
what you need.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think too, at least I would say by far the majority of our modality leaders are
Mhm,
certified in the modality that they're leading. So
yes.
Right.
That,
they're all working supervisors, working managers, and when it's tough, they're going to be out there with you, and that's crucial. So no, they're not out there 100% of the time. There's still some administrative stuff they have to get done, but ultimately,
mm,
teammates and patient care and doing the right thing by both of those is very important to us.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
like William said, we do have opportunities that are 100% outpatient. Um,
Mhm,
and some of the outpatient clinics are really, really busy, and some of the
right.
outpatient clinics may not be. Like if you think about an X-ray unit that might be in a family practice clinic, or ortho clinics are always going to be busy. They
Right.
are high throughput, but some of the other outpatient areas aren't quite that busy. And Jill and William can talk to you further about what we have to offer. But one thing that comes to mind for me is if you like a variety of work, we do have some float positions. They don't reside in radiology, but they do have techs that are part of a float pool that go to different outpatient clinics,
Mhm.
and do X-ray imaging there. So I don't know if that's something that interests you, but William and Jill can probably talk to you further about that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, we have openings in that area.
We do,
Yes,
yeah,
we do.
we do. And
Okay.
they're
Well,
so
yeah.
beneficial because they fill the gaps,
Mhm.
Mhm.
in our
Yeah.
outpatient areas. So if you only have one tech in a clinic and that tech's not there, nobody gets an X-ray without having to go somewhere else unless we have somebody to float and fill. So
Mhm. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank
Becca.
you, Rebecca. Any other questions? Is Rebecca are the last of our participants?
Mhm.
Oh, thank you for
So,
hanging in there with us, Rebecca. You made this fun. Do you have any last words, Rebecca?
Well, yeah, just I do thank you for even having this conversation, because I think that a lot of the places, okay, so I've worked in several different capacities. I've worked at the hospital, outpatient orthopedics, three different offices there. I'm in full time imaging now. I'm a student and a new mom. A second time.
Congratulations.
I just had
Yeah.
my second baby, and I decided to go back to school all in the middle of that. And so, I'm glad that there is opportunity in the field. Um, and I live close by to the friendly center, and but I'm at the point in my career where I am actually willing to drive. I'm willing to travel, for a better environment.
Mhm.
People that are empathetic and have credibility and that are willing to do what they're asking of me to do. um, I just I've seen a few things recently that that don't sit well with me. So yes, my I'm looking to transition, and but I have to say again, because I have so many family members that have been sick, like I know my reason why I'm doing this. I know, like, I feel like it's a
Mhm.
calling, and
Yeah.
when people forget that, it's really sad. Like you said, you can tell when a person's showing up for a paycheck, and you can tell when a person actually wants to be there. And but again, when it's so busy, I just feel like, you know let's say 50, 60 exams in a busy CT department, on two scanners. You don't even have time to really check things. Like, you hope that the order's right, you hope everything's rolling, because if one thing is off, your whole day gets thrown. And
Mhm.
some people love that, and then some people, it brings out the worst anxiety.
Right.
And so, how do companies expect, like, we feel like we're meeting demands and we're doing great and we want to give patient care, but again, we don't even have time to. So that, I guess that's where I'm like conflicted. Like, okay, you want one thing, but you also want the other. How is that even possible?
Mhm.
And I'm looking at
Yeah.
things and I'm like, I don't want to herd cattle, right?
Yeah.
But we've got to
Yeah.
hurry.
Mhm.
And I mean, so I'm looking at things, so I don't work at certain places because I know that's the environment. But then, you know, if or you're on a busy weekend and you don't have that many staff members, like, it's just kind of like sink or swim. And I think that's the philosophy nowadays. Like, well, just do it. I, I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit with it myself, but I'm
No,
still
I hear
showing up and
you.
I'm doing the best that I can do.
Yeah. No,
So,
I can appreciate that, Rebecca. And, I don't know any place that has it perfect. I
right.
can tell you we are trying our best, but do we have it perfect? Probably not. On some days, yes. And some days
Right.
when there's call outs and, whatnot, you just don't know what you're gonna get and you do the best to throw things together and you make it work somehow. But, especially in an outpatient setting, we've got things in place to review orders several days in advance to try to make sure we have the right orders and the right authorizations and everything up front, just so we're not dealing with that in the moment. Of course, if a
Well,
patient
that's
comes
good.
in and their GFR is, you know, um, not where we can give contrast or something like that, that's going to throw a wrench into things. But we've got processes in place to handle that. But I totally appreciate and understand where you're coming from, and it's a hard thing to balance, and we definitely care, and we're constantly striving to get to a place where it is manageable. But you're right, it's ever growing, and we're not pumping out enough people that are trained and experienced enough just yet to be able to support it. So
Right. Right.
But
Right. There's
I
a
appreciate your
shortage.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a shortage, and are people willing to still do this and
Mhm.
all that? So, yeah, interesting season.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, and you have my contact information, so let's talk.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you
All
again.
right. As
Y'all have a
I
nice evening.
thanks, you
Thanks.
too,
Thank you.
Rebecca.
You too. Bye.